If you walk outside on a clear night, your eyes will naturally adjust to the brightest thing in the sky. To us, the moon is a known quantity. It is a dead sphere of silicate rock and basalt roughly 238,000 miles away, locked in a gravitational dance with Earth. We have mapped its craters, analyzed its soil, and left footprints in its dust. It is an object, a piece of geology. But for almost the entirety of human history, the moon was something completely different. It wasn't an object in the sky. It was a presence. For over 300,000 years, every single one of your ancestors looked up at that same silver disk, but they did not see a rock. Without telescopes, without physics, without any concept of outer space, the moon was a profound, terrifying, and beautiful mystery. It was a living thing that aged, grew sick, died, and was reborn every single month. To understand what ancient humans thought the moon was, you have to strip away everything you learned in modern science. You have to step into a world where the sky was not an empty vacuum, but a canvas of living powers. Let's start with the most basic reality of the ancient world. The moon was the first clock. Before agriculture, before cities, before the concept of a 7-day week, human beings needed a way to measure the passage of time. The sun gives us the day, but it changes too slowly across the seasons to help you plan the immediate future. The moon, however, changes every single night. It grows larger, it changes shape, it disappears entirely, and then it returns with absolute precision. In the early 1970s, an archaeologist named Alexander Marshak examined an artifact known as the Blanchard bone found in France and dating back over 30,000 years. Under a microscope, Marshak noticed that the series of notched markings carved into the bone weren't random scratches. They formed a precise serpentine pattern that perfectly tracked the changing phases of the moon over several months. Think about that. 30,000 years ago, an Ice Age hunter sat by a fire, looked up at the sky, and realized that the changes in the moon's shape were predictable. They were counting. They were inventing the future. To these early humans, the moon was the ultimate keeper of rhythm. It dictated when the herds would move, when the rivers would swell, and when the women of the tribe would become pregnant. The connection was so deep that in almost every ancient language, the words for moon and month share the exact same root. The moon didn't just tell time. The moon was time. It was a cosmic pulse that everything on Earth had to dance to. But it wasn't just a passive calendar. To the ancient mind, anything that moved and changed form possessed a spirit. It was alive. And the moon did something that no human could ever do. It died and came back to life. Every 29.5 days, the moon would slowly wither away until it was completely swallowed by the darkness. For 3 nights, the sky would be completely black, and then a tiny, fragile sliver of silver would reappear in the western sky. This cycle became the foundation for how early humans understood life, death, and destiny. The moon was proof that destruction was not final. If the brightest light in the night sky could dissolve into nothingness and then rebuild itself from the dark, then perhaps humans could do the same. The moon became the cosmic blueprint for resurrection. Because of this deep association with life and growth, almost every ancient civilization personified the moon as a powerful deity directly involved in human affairs. In ancient Mesopotamia, the moon god was named Sin. He was envisioned as a wise ruler with a long amber beard, sailing across the dark sky in a glowing crescent boat. He was considered the Lord of Wisdom because by tracking his movements, early priests could measure the seasons, plan harvests, and predict the future. He was the ultimate calculator of human destiny. Interestingly, the character of the moon shifted depending on how a culture interacted with its environment. In the Mediterranean traditions of the Greeks and Romans, the moon became feminine, associated with goddesses like Selene, Artemis, or Diana. She represented the cyclical nature of fertility, hunting, the tides, and the untamed wilderness. She was the cool, quiet counterpart to the harsh, burning masculinity of the sun. It wasn't something you just looked at. It was an entity that looked down at you, judging, guiding, and affecting your very biology. As human civilization advanced, the way we thought about the moon transitioned from pure myth to primitive science, but the concepts didn't get any less strange. By the time of the ancient Greeks, observers realized that the moon didn't actually produce its own light. They noticed that the bright, illuminated side of the moon always faced the sun. This led to a fascinating new theory, that the moon was a massive cosmic mirror hanging in space. Some Greek philosophers believed that the dark markings on the face of the moon were actually reflections of the Earth's own geography. They thought that when they looked up at the full moon, they were looking at a blurry silver mirror reflecting the world's oceans and continents, a window to see the true shape of the home they inhabited.